Shalom. Kol halayim la, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, to the Akim doing the work in truth and sincerity, as well as the rest of the Akim and Akwath who believe in the true gospel of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. This is Brother Shawar with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And prophecy is booming, if you're not paying attention or you're not in the know, then, the Lord he's really not dealing with you. He just doesn't want you to know, as an Israelite, if you don't know what's going on and you're not paying attention, then you just don't have the spirit of the Lord on you, right? But prophecies are jumping out the book. We're at the almost at the climax of these end time prophecies. The only thing left really is, World War III and the MOTB and all the things, all the chain reaction, from those things. And this is what's going to lead to that, right? So there's an article from CNN and dealing with these port strikes. And this could be a big thing, man. This could lead to, through the spirit, we believe it will, it's going to lead to that famine, and cause the people to lose it, and it's going to cause that civil war, basically. So let's read some of this article. I might watch some of this video too. I didn't watch it, but it might give us a little insight. But we're going to read some of this article and then get some scriptures and close it out. So it says, massive port strike begins across America's East Coast, threatening shortages and rising prices. And this came out, I think, yesterday. So it says nearly 50,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association are on strike Tuesday again. The nation's east and Gulf Coast ports choking off the flow of many America's imports and exports in what could become the country's most disruptive work stoppage in decades. The strike, which began at midnight, will stop the flow of a wide variety of goods over the docks of almost all cargo ports from Maine to Texas. This includes bananas, European beer, wine, and liquor, along with the furniture, clothing, household goods, and European autos, as well as parts needed to keep U.S. factories operating and American workers in those plants on the job, right? So, you got to think this is a very crucial thing because, there's a cycle that, people don't really understand or see, most people, that happens, that takes place in order for people to get the foods and to get the goods and whatever else they may need for their daily life. But once one part of that cycle stops, everything is delayed. Everything is cut off because it's literally like, one step after the other, right? It's like I said earlier, a chain reaction. It's one thing has to happen, and then another thing activates that one thing, and then another thing activates. It's like a domino effect, right? So this is going to affect a lot of people, and it doesn't take long at all for people to see a huge difference in the lack of goods and then things that they need every day. Because when you're just living life every day, you don't pay attention to, it's always there. So you're not worried, you're not thinking about, this the things like, like the process of how it gets there. It's just there. But this is the Lord bringing down this place slowly, and this is what's gonna lead to, that famine and that insurrection amongst the people, as well as people just rebelling against the government. But everything is happening the way it's supposed to. So let's continue reading a little bit more. So it says, among many other goods, American workers in those plants on the job, among many other goods, it could also stop the U.S. exports now flowing through those ports, hurting sales for American companies. A wide gap remained between the union's demands and the contract offer from the United States Maritime Alliance, which uses the acronym USMX. The Maritime Alliance represents the major shipping lines, all of which are foreign-owned. as well as terminal operators and port authorities, right? Because in Babylon the Great in the West, everything is imported. They're not sending stuff out; they're the ones receiving. So let's see. Let's read possible shortages. Let's read some of this. Possible shortages. Depending on the length of the strike, it could result in shortages of consumer and industrial goods, which could then lead to price hikes. It could also mark a setback to the economy, which has shown signs of recovery from pandemic-induced supply chain disruptions that resulted in a spike in inflation. The ports involved include the Port of New York and New Jersey, the nation's third largest port by volume of cargo handled. So that's a huge portion, right? That's going to affect a lot of people. Let's say this thing stops they go on strike for like a week. That pushback is going to be deadly. There's a lot of people, millions of people that's trying to eat every day, that's buying food every day. But none of that stuff coming in, things are gonna get old. Things are gonna expire. Next thing you know, you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing to get anymore. And what is that going to do? It's going to make people pretty much crash out and attack one another. And eventually it's going to get to the point where it's literally like the purge out here, man. And everybody's out here fending for themselves. That's what the Lord tells us. And we'll get that in the scriptures. Let's see. Okay, let's get this for an example. Port Wellington in Delaware describes itself as the nation's leading banana port, bringing in a large share of America's favorite fruit. According to the American Farm Bureau, 1.2 million metric tons of bananas come in through the struck ports, representing about 1/4 of the nation's bananas. So that's just one example, man. You gotta think about these things and actually do the math. Kind of like this is gonna be a big hit. Like it's gonna make a big difference in people's lives. So let's read a little more. Other perishable items such as cherries also move through ports, as do a large percentage of imported wine, beer, and hard liquor. Raw materials used by U.S. food producers, such as cocoa and sugar, make up a large portion of the affected imports as well. And many non-perishable goods, such as furniture and appliances, are imported through the affected ports too. Retailers have been rushing in recent months to get the imported products they expect to sell during the holiday season delivered to them before the October 1st strike deadline. Many of the goods cannot be rerouted because it doesn't make economic or logistical sense to ship them by plane or to other ports of entry. So let's see. This is good information in this article. I'll probably put it in the description. But you get the point. There's it goes to a little bit of history. But the point is made, right? This is where we're at, man. And this is prophecy speaking. Let's watch some of this video and see what it's talking about.
Well, the clock ran out last night at midnight, and now you have tens of thousands of dock workers on strike this morning. Just here alone at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, they employ over 4,000 union members, and many of them on strike here this morning for the first time in 47 years after the union and the U.S. Maritime Alliance could not come up with a deal before midnight. Just to show you some of what's going on around me, over here over my right-hand shoulder, you have containers that are piled up. These are empty. No one, though, is going to be picking them up and loading them because of the members on strike behind me right here. You have a couple hundred of them out here since early this morning. Then if you take a look over my left-hand shoulder, those are the ports. Those are the docks. They are essentially closed. Nothing going in, nothing going out. Now, Kate, This all comes down to money, wages, and job security. Many of the members behind me are holding signs saying just that. They want to make sure that they're getting paid appropriately, and they want to make sure their jobs are secure. Listen to the president of the ILA union just last month talking about what they're fighting for.
Yeah, see, so ever since the the scamdemic, inflation is hit and things are getting more expensive. The cost of living is going up. It's getting harder for everyone. So, and these guys during the pandemic, these guys were working extremely hard. And now with that being said, they're looking for, proper pay, proper compensation for the hard work, and they feel like it's not, they're not getting it. And most people aren't, to be honest. That's how, Esau, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to create chaos to bring order out of it, order out of chaos. That's what they do. Problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, they get the reaction, and then they provide the solution because they have an agenda that they are trying to establish at the end of the day, right? And that's Revelation 13 and 16, that MOTB, right? That micro C hip that goes in your hand or your forehead, so they can track and trace everything and be like the Most High, right? And also cut down the population, pretty much exterminate Jake, and and pretty much enslave everyone on the earth, and they can have, ultimate control. That's what these elites want. The elites behind the scenes, man, the elite banking families, your JOOs that run everything, right? That's what this is about.
You gotta draw the line. These companies that work in the maritime business come from overseas. Not one of them belongs to America. They want to come into America and build fully automated terminals and get rid of American jobs. Good paying jobs that support families with medical, pensions, annuities, and pay taxes. They want to get rid of them.
And USMX says that they've made an offer of up to 50% in wage increases over 6 years, as well as keeping language in the current contract that would help stop automation of jobs. But the union saying that is not enough. Now, in terms of this port, a lot of fruit and vegetables come into this port. You're talking about cherries, fresh fruit, chocolate, alcohol. Also going out, you have auto parts that are being shipped across seas. None of that.
Yeah, so you see, and this isn't going to be only on the east side. It's not only going to be a East Coast thing. It's going to, it's going to expand, all throughout Babylon. And then next thing you know, it's the purge out here, right? That's what we're headed to, and we're going to get it with the scriptures right now. This is 2 Ezra 15, starting at the top. It reads, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." Right? And this is what people are starting to see, man. A lot of people, who have doubted the Hebrew Israelites and the truth, who come after the truth, they're starting to see that these words are faithful and true, that you can't deny it. And again, like I said at the beginning of the lesson, if you can't see it and you can't put two and two together, as an Israelite, because the Lord is only dealing with the Israelites first and foremost, then the Lord just really isn't dealing with you. The Lord has you blinded. Because all the signs are there, man, right? So let's continue on. Verse 3. "Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee," right? The unbelief. Don't let anyone, these heathen or these 2/3 Israelites, that don't believe in the truth, affect your faith, because at the end of the day, the Lord chose us to see. Those of us who understand the truth, that have the Spirit, the Lord gave it to us. We see it, we understand. They can't see it because the Lord didn't give it to them. We know that's how this is going down. So don't let no family, your woman, your kids, whoever, don't let nobody's unbelief steer you off the path of following Yahweh Shem Yahushua and enduring until the end. Because this is how it's supposed to be. It's not for everybody. Right? Verse 4, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And this is exactly what this thing with these port strikes is leading to. Because there's a lot of judgment that's about to go out, man. The Lord is going to bring Babylon down, Babylon the Great, which is America. He's going to bring this place down, you know, and various other places, particularly the Western world. Some places in Europe is the homeland, Israel. You know, the Lord is bringing these places down. Babylon's going to get it the worst, though. You know, Babylon is going to get completely obliterated off the face of the earth. But there's a lot of judgment that has to go out. Right? Because the Lord is coming back to redeem his people, you know, to take down Esau Edom, who's ruling this world, the so-called white man, and to redeem his elect. And then to after redeeming his elect, bring back the nation of Israel in righteousness, you know, through the second covenant, pursuing the Hebrews, the 8th chapter, you know, in the kingdom of heaven, and have the world become a paradise for an eternity, with them ruling, with us ruling. So-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's the end game, man. That's why we're enduring until the end, for that reward, that salvation. It's 2nd Ezra 6, and we'll just start at 22. It reads, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." That's what you're gonna see very soon, man. No, nothing to buy in the stores, man. Similarly to, you know, in the scamdemic. You know, everyone trying to buy the same thing, and it was a shortage because everything stopped. You know, and they had to cut off how much you could buy of a certain item and all that kind of thing. That was a little, you know, a snippet of what's to come. Verse 23, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid." And the trumpet is the prophets. The Lord speaks to his men, right? You know, the men on the highways and hedges, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, you know, doing the lessons online on the unicorn. You know, that's that trumpet. Now, verse 24. "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation." That's the elect, that remnant, dealing with pursuing Isaiah the 10th chapter, "and the end of your world." Right? So we can keep reading this really, but you get the point, right? That this is what's coming. You know, this is all the signs. Let's go to Habakkuk. These are all the signs that the Lord had told us was going to happen, right? And then we've been waiting patiently for the Lord to come back. We're waiting and seeing the sign, so we know what time we're in. We just, the elect are patiently waiting and paying attention to what's going on, because we're trying to hasten the day of the Lord's coming. We're trying to get to the kingdom. That's what we're focused on. That's the same spirit that you should be in, and life is life. We got stuff to do. We're in captivity. It is what it is. We got things we like to do, but it's a balance, and we got to understand the truth should be in the forefront of your mind, and it should lead you in all your movements. Every step you take should be spiritual to some extent. You know what I mean? It's okay to, we gotta live life, man, but we're at the end of this thing. So prepare in the spirit, man. Isaiah 33:6, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the fear of the Lord shall be the strength of your salvation." Right? This wisdom and knowledge, the truth, the scriptures that the Lord has given us, right? And we're here, man. So let's get this, and then we'll get one more and close it out. So Habakkuk 2, and we'll start at the top. It reads, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, and we're seeing that. The prophecies, sometimes you feel, like, damn, like, how long, oh Lord? Like, get in that spirit of, like, how long is this going to take? But then the Lord will show us something that to let us know, like, it's close. So we're right here, man. So let's continue on. Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right? And that's the key. The elect, that remnant, the Lord has preserved from the foundations of the earth, the 144,000, as well as the great multitude, the men, women, and children who believe, right? And then you have the 144 governing body, the prophets, the men of the Lord, those that the Lord has reserved. We're going to live by faith. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. We're going to believe until the very end, right? And we're seeing all the signs, from the vision that Yahweh Shai told the disciples that are going to happen in the last days. We're seeing all of them. So let's get this, and we'll close it out. We're seeing all these signs, man. Matthew 24, starting at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Meaning the end of the age, the ending of the rulership. The eon. When you go into that word, in the Greek, it's the eon, the end of the age, the end of Esau's rulership. The second Ezra tells us that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So after this rulership comes the kingdom of heaven, which is an everlasting kingdom, right? So that's what the disciples are asking Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai answered unto them, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. There's many false prophets out here, man. More false prophets than there are true. Verse 6, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation. We've been seeing that for the past 10 years, really, and it's only been, heating up more and more the last 5. And even the last 2 years, it's been going crazy. Right? And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Right? So that's it, man. This is the beginning of sorrows. This is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. Like in pursuing of Daniel 12, at a time like never before since there was a nation. The worst time in the history of mankind, of the existence of the earth. And the Lord, we're going to need the Lord to get through it, and the Lord is going to be with us, right? His elect, those of us who are sincere, those of us who got this truth, that are taking it seriously, that are on fire for it, that are constantly in prayer, right? Calling on the right names, Yahweh, Wah, Yahweh Shai. That's who it's for. But this is what we're seeing, man. That's what all this is. That's what all this is, man. It's prophecy. And it's beautiful to see. The people of the world, they don't get it. They get scared. But those of us who have the eyes to see, we get happy, man. We prepare, we got to go through it too, but we get happy about it because we know what it means in the end. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. Did what it was supposed to do. Continue to stay circumspect, stay prayed up. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Kwam, Yasharala, and a Bible Ball.